Welcome back to McKeon Park. We apologize that our stream went down, had some trouble with the Wi-Fi. In case you're just joining us, which I assume all of you are. It's 12-1 Gatemen here in the bottom of the 7th. Ryan Romano, the 9-hitter, just took a walk. He's the first man aboard for the Harbor Hawks. It's the bottom of the 8th. Gatemen added 3 in the top of the 7th. Excuse me, that's where we stand here in the bottom of the 7th now for Hyannis. It's Clark Elliott, the righty, up next. Carter Rustad still on the mound for the Gatemen. And he ropes one toward the left field line, and that twists foul.
All right, Trent Taylor, his first plate appearance of the night. Good swing on that pitch from Rustad. Subbed in for Elliott in center field to start the inning. But you were spared, our listeners, from a chowder review from Harrison and Nick mid-inning.
Throw from Frechette after Romano headed to second was not in time, got over the glove of Troy, so Romano went safely to second.
Apparently that chowder review is coming back to you at the end of the 7th, so we apologize for that.
So it's Trent Taylor, although Clark Elliott named an all-star today. No sympathy from the managerial staff for the Harbor Hawks. Trent Taylor coming in. This is his first at-bat of the night.
And his first of the season. Taylor, a new addition from UCF.
Fastball from Rustad bounces before the plate. A good stop from Frechette.
Played in 31 games for UCF in the spring. Only 7 of those starts. Hit .216 with 2 homers and 4 RBIs. His big problem. He also spent 2 seasons at Daytona State, where he was an excellent hitter, over .300 average in his 2 seasons there.
That one skied up high, actually back towards us, thankfully to our left, and that is hard to do. That one hit the backstop fence as it was traveling downward. Has to come at quite a steep angle for that to happen. Thankfully, stays on the field side of the bleachers here, not toward the fans. So I guess a foul ball is a foul ball, so it's 2-2 for Taylor.
Yeah, starting to see a little bit of fog roll in at McKeon Park, Owen.
Sure are. Interesting how the weather can change as the day goes on. The breeze picking up as well. We may get some weather tomorrow.
And we've seen a few military planes fly by tonight.
Sure have. Several planes, pretty low. There are some Air Force bases, I know, very close to this area. Swing and a miss from Taylor. That's strike 3. Another for Rustad. So the good night for him continues. That's his 3rd of the night.
But yeah, there's an Air Force base, I believe, in Buzzards Bay. Another in Sandwich.
I believe that's the one it would be. Otis Air National Guard Base. That's the one I would imagine most of these planes are coming from. Fastball from Rustad misses up high for ball 1-ball. I am not the navigational expert by any means, so I could be totally wrong with that. In fact, that might be a good indication that it's not Otis Air Force Base. 2 outs with Romano on second. The pitch to ball, that's in there for a strike. That evens the count at 1.
It's been a great night so far for Wareham. Comfortably in front, 12-1, and a win tonight ties them for second in the West. The 6-game losing streak was tough, Owen, but a good bounce back yesterday and looking good so far here tonight against Hyannis. Well, another one tomorrow to complete the 2-game series here at McKeon Park.
1-1 That's in there for strike 2. That one catches the lower part of the zone. As baseball from the Gatemen bullpen reaches the infield. And Yohandi will toss back to one of the Gatemen pitchers to get that out of play. These 2 nights have been some of the best we've seen from the Gatemen through 7.5. And then last night at Chatham, they've had the bats going. Pitching staff has continued to be excellent. Pitch from Rustad. Beautiful curveball. Strike 3 called. The 4th of the night for Carter Rustad. Gatemen on top 12-1 after 7 here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. And we tried, the stream tried. It might have been a sign, but nonetheless, Harrison and Nick have persevered. They will continue their chowder review here between the 7th and the 8th at McKeon Park.
Here we go again during the break. Sorry you missed the first part. We'll pick it up, I guess, where we started. Nick Magus, Harrison Eaton headed over to the concession stand here in Hyannis, and I didn't know if it was a good idea to order chowder from a ballpark concession stand.
Correct.
I asked you, Harrison, what do you think? You're from North Carolina, but you have some experience in the area. You grew up in the area.
Correct.
I'm an outsider, but I made the call. I grabbed my first cup of ballpark clam chowder, and you made me comfortable doing that. So we're here to review it.
So breaking it down, the chowder. As Owen mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if we caught that on stream, but the consistency is very key, and that was a very consistent chowder. The texture of it was good. The amount of clams in it were good, and of course the crackers are gonna top it off. So I'm gonna give it a 7.9.
Okay, so what are the elements of you got consistency, you've got clam ratio, you've got cracker ratio. I would say potato size for me.
I'm
potato size is a big thing.
Guy. I'm a smaller potato guy.
I agree. I think the giant potatoes is just a sign of lazy dicing.
Oh, I do too.
Small
and
potatoes.
It just takes it up, and your mouth is just full of potato.
I know. This had good small potatoes. You're 7.9.
7.9.
With less experience than you have, I'm giving it an 8.2.
Okay,
it was a good start. My first cup of ballpark clam chowder in my career. It won't be my last, I promise you.
Okay. And with my YouTube stream debut, I just want to thank Owen for shouting out NC State Ice Hockey. Thanks to Harrison Eaton and Zach Selway for getting me here. And here's Jack and Owen.
They're dying for the headsets back.
Oh, they are.
All righty. Here we go. Thanks, guys.
We're back. Amateur hour here in Hyannis. We continue with the 8th inning. Tommy Troy at the plate for the Gatemen. He lifts the first one foul up and over the right field bleachers. I did enjoy hearing the detail and what some people like and don't like of the chowder. People very, very protective of their kinds of chowder here. Maine clam chowder, Cape Cod clam chowder. And strike 2 to Troy. Fastball from Fusco catches the outside corner.
I love the attitude. They came on the mic. They go, all right, we have to be quick. We probably have only 90 seconds. And then it takes Nick a minute and a half to get into what he's trying to say.
As Troy lifts this one up high down the right field line into foul territory. Coming over to make the catch is Dominic Johnson for out number 1. Nice play from the right fielder. And it's funny to me, some of the things that matter. Potato size, I did appreciate that point from Harrison and Nick, that a discussion. And I tend to be a small potato person as well. And to me, seems fairly objective. A phrase I learned a few years ago, but I like using is either objectively bad or objectively good. And that's what comes to mind for me with potatoes, though it makes absolutely no sense. First pitch to Clark misses low and away. Good curveball from Fusco.
And a change behind the plate. Joey Raffaele in for Ryan Proto. First time we've seen Raffaele on the Cape, as that pitch is fouled back by Clark to make it a ball and 2 strikes.
Lots of new names for Hyannis tonight, both on the mound, now behind the plate. And Trent Taylor, of course, making his appearance in center field. Cam Clark, the DH. He takes the 1-2. Another curveball from Fusco. That one's in the dirt. Evens the count at 2. Gatemen on top 12-1 here in the top of the 8th at McKeon Park in Hyannis. 2-2 from Fusco, misses low to Kellum Clark. It's a full count. (3-2), strike 3 called. So Clark strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. That one looking brings up Yohandy Morales. There are 2 outs for the first baseman from Miami.
Nice fastball from Fusco, gets his first punch out. And that was a pitch that Clark really couldn't swing at. Just blew by him, and it was very far inside, well located.
First pitch to Morales, big sweeping breaking ball. That stays up high. Morales, his father, Andy, member of the Cuban national team and played in both the New York Yankees and Boston Red Sox organizations. Also for the Cuban national team, has a brother, Yandy.
Yeah, he's at Barry University, Division II school in Miami Shores, Florida. So both Yohandy and Yandy staying in Florida.
Something you don't see too often. Fusco totally tripped on his delivery. That one bounced way before the dirt of home plate. He did a little roll over, add some dirt to his uniform, but he's back and all set. It's 3-0 to Morales.
Well, that could happen to anybody. You're just not that used to these new mounds, place you haven't played before.
That one misses low. So Morales walks for the 2nd time tonight. 2 outs. Morales on first, brings up Jack Brannigan. He's also walked tonight. He walked in his last at-bat in the 7th, and he's 1 for 2. He was hit in the 2nd and singled in the 3rd.
Very cool story for Brannigan. Grew up going to Notre Dame football games as a kid. As the first pitch to him misses low for ball 1. His grandpa and uncle went to Notre Dame, so he was a huge Notre Dame fan when he was a kid. Gets to go to Notre Dame, and in 2020, a freshman All-American, Notre Dame's first since 2016, burst onto the scene for the Fighting Irish.
Very exciting for him and his entire family, I'm sure. The fastball misses low. It's 2-0 to Brannigan.
Yeah, he was out of Orland Park, Illinois. You don't see a ton of baseball talent coming out of Illinois, but Brannigan, one of the better ones. He was ranked as the 20th best player in Illinois, coming out of Marist High School.
We've talked about how common it is to stay in state to go to college, and it was interesting, you guys explaining how the scholarship structures are so different for baseball than they are for a sport like football.
Well, in-state and out-of-state's not that different in Illinois because, just to be frank, that state government is a mess. It's nearly the same price for in-state versus out-of-state schools there.
2-0 to Brannigan's a fastball on the inside corner for strike 1.
For example, a school like U of I, that's really the only example I know of. About $41,000 out of state, and you get a cool $4,000 discount if you're in state. It's about $37,000.
Wow.
Not the case in other states like Georgia, as that pitch is chopped foul to make it 2-2 to Brannigan. And a state like Georgia even offers scholarships that will pay for your entire tuition if you meet a certain GPA, or up to 80% if you meet a lower tier GPA. Throughout your entire college experience. Something that's really cool that they do in Georgia, but a state like Illinois, none of that. So it might have been easier for somebody like Jack Brannigan to leave the state.
Brannigan lifts one toward the right side of the infield. Backing up is Romano, the first baseman. He makes the catch for out number 3. So a fairly quiet inning given how explosive the Gatemen offense had in the top of the 8th. They're still on top 12-1. We enter the bottom of the 8th when we come back on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Get your glow on at Compassionate Med Spa. They're compassionate about getting your perfect skin. Come get your glow on. Call 774-678-7319. Mention this ad and get 25% off at Hydra Facial.
The Mezzaluna Restaurant is a family-run Italian restaurant celebrating 80 years in business. Located on Main Street in Buzzards Bay, Mezzaluna specializes in Italian cuisine, a lunch menu that's the best deal in town, and serving some of Cape Cod's famous prime rib every Wednesday and Saturday. Come enjoy the feast at Mezzaluna, the Italian family restaurant.
The AD Makepeace Company also owns and operates Reed Custom Soils, the area's leading manufacturer of custom soils, including CU structural soil and Rooflight certified green roof media. Reed Custom Soils is also a manufacturer and distributor of baseball infield mix and conditioners. To learn more, visit admakepeace.com or Reed Custom.
We enter the bottom of the 8th at McKeon Park. Owen, Sughrue, Jack Sadighian. It's a new pitcher on the mound for the Gatemen, the right-hander Eli Saul out of Sacramento State.
Yeah, Saul a bit of a balloon DRA, 7.5 in 4 appearances. He's only thrown 6 innings, given up 4 hits, 7 walks with 6 strikeouts. His struggle has been control, and those 7 walks loom large through 6 innings. But you'll see fastball that sits about 90 to 92 from him, a slider, and a change.
First batter Saul will face, it's Luke Mann, the DH out of Mizzou. He takes a fastball low in the dirt for ball 1. Mann's 0 for 3 tonight with 2 strikeouts. Fastball from Saul misses up high as more fog continues to settle in here in Hyannis. It was a bit of a hazy afternoon, and the air has gotten a little bit thicker as this night's gone on. 2-0, another fastball that misses up high. That one at 93, but it's 3-0 to Mann.
And I want to highlight Rustad's outing after he got banged up in a couple appearances. He goes 3 scoreless innings tonight. Only gives up 2 hits and a walk. Nice job by Rustad.
It was a great outing for the right-hander out of San Diego State as another fastball from Saul misses up high. Mann reaches to start things off in the bottom of the 8th for Hyannis, bringing up Nick Romano. Nick Romano, the younger of the 2 brothers, again by a whole 10 minutes, so Ryan Romano, of course, been able to show him the ropes of how to deal with everything that Ryan already had experienced. First pitch to Nick gets by Frechette, so Mann heads to second. The last time these 2 played together, it was at St. John's River.
Yeah, that was in 2020, I believe.
That's right, and interestingly, Daniel Gill, the starting pitcher for Hyannis, spent some time there too. So see a lot of these junior college schools and colleges being a hot spot as Brannigan fields the grounder from Romano, tosses over to Morales for out number 1. Of course, McLennan College in Waco and St. John's River. That's in Florida, so a lot of these schools, hot spots for baseball players. A lot of them might transfer to larger schools like Power 5 schools. Of course, Crooks making the move to Oklahoma. Romano, both Romano staying in state. Nick Romano transferring to UCF, and Ryan Romano over to FSU to play for the Seminoles.
Yeah, neither of them have seen a ton of playing time yet at either school, but good start being in the Cape League.
First pitch to Mason Greer, the third baseman from McLennan. Misses inside, or excuse me, catches the inside corner for strike one.
Greer's had a tough night so far, 0 for 3 with a couple strikeouts.
He's not been alone on this Hyannis offense in terms of his struggles tonight as he takes a breaking ball up high.
Well, I was kind of worried coming into this game. 47 hits for Hyannis, 34 runs in the last 4 games, but held at bay so far tonight.
This one's lifted high into left field. Coming forward is Diodati. He makes the catch for out number 2. Man still on second. And there's 2 outs.
And a nice job by Saul so far. Gave up the leadoff walk. But 2 straight batters sat down and a chance to get a clean inning with pinch hitter at the plate.
Looks like the catcher, Joey Raffelli, perhaps?
It is, yes.
He fouls the first one off behind the backstop. It's 0-1 to Raffelli.
Raffelli out of Florida Southern College, a Division II school, played in 10 games for them this season. Didn't see a ton of action.
Breaking ball from Saul, misses low and away. It's ball 1.
But he spent 3 seasons with Nova Southeastern, played 23 games over those seasons. He's originally from Lithia, Florida.
1-1. He grounds that toward the right side, the left side of the infield. Brannigan fires over to first for out number 3. Gatemen still on top 12-1 after 8 here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
A 12-1 game as we enter the 9th inning. Jack Sadighian, Owen Sughrue. Chance to add some insurance to an 11-run lead for Wareham before Hyannis' last time up. As Wareham looks to move into a tie with Katuitt for second in the West after the Kettleers fell to the Firebirds 5-1 earlier tonight. Anthony Frechette will start at the plate, and Salvatore Fusco still on the mound. The right-hander's gone a couple innings for Hyannis. The Open Championship just finished up this past weekend. Owen, I know you were following it closely. You kept taping it when we had to call games and would not let us tell you the results.
Well, you guys were incredibly kind. I heard a little bit, and upon reflection, it's very fair. Nick was surprised that I taped the first day and didn't want to hear results. That's fair. I think that was perhaps a little bit extreme. You guys, though, were incredibly kind. The one I was surprised about was Sunday. Went the whole day. You guys didn't tell me anything. We even went to dinner after, and I had no idea who won. Finished watching it around a little past midnight. Watched with my dad, Morikawa. Colin Morikawa, of course, winning his second major championship, won the PGA last year. He was unflappable.
2 balls and a strike on Frechette. He's got 2 hits and 3 RBIs tonight. Leading off the 9th, Wareham up 12-1. Takes that pitch for a ball. 3 balls and a strike now. But yeah, I didn't pay a ton of attention to the Open. Usually I just root for the Americans to win. As that pitch misses upstairs to walk Frechette.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for Americans. Morikawa, of course, coming in at 15 under, he won, and then Spieth was in second at 13 under. Louis Oosthuizen just had a tough Sunday. He had the lead. He was at 12 under going into the final round and just shot 1 over. He has had a brutal record on Sundays in major championships when he's been in contention. He's a very nice guy, and he certainly had a successful career, but I can see how he'd be frustrated with so many close finishes. Does have, again, 1 major championship, but he's a few shots off from having 6 or 7, so he finished T3 with John Rahm.
First pitch to the 9-hitter Fergus was fouled back. Fergus 2 for 3 with a base hit in the 3rd and an RBI double in the 7th. The 0-1 is a fastball for a strike on the outer half. Frechette on first, nobody out in the top of the 9th. It's 12-1 Wareham.
And this has been largely one of the best, I think arguably the best game for both Frechette and Fergus at the plate.
Absolutely.
They've both been fantastic.
Fergus's best game since a couple early on in the season, as that pitch is fouled back to keep it 0-2.
All right, Frechette is 2 for 4. And Fergus is 2 for 3 with a walk. And Frechette scored 3 times, Fergus twice.
Fergus's big moments came when he had a home run against Orleans the 25th. Came back against Brewster and hit a double on the 27th of June, that is. As the 0-2 is a curveball swung on and missed. Fergus a good night, but a strikeout there. 1 away now in the 9th. And our first look at Michael Ludwig, left-handed hitter out of Wake Forest. Just activated a couple days ago, and he'll get his first plate appearance as a Cape Leaguer against Fusco. Ludwig, a 4-year starter for the Demon Deacons. He has Frechette on first and 1 away. 12-1 Wareham. First pitch from Fusco is a fastball outside. Ludwig has played in 150 games, 136 of those starts for Wake Forest. This past season, he was a .278 hitter with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs. 1-0 is fouled off. A ball and a strike to Ludwig, his first plate appearance in the Cape League. He did hit 2 home runs in the final road game of the season for Wake Forest on May 18th. That was against Coastal Carolina. 2 of his 3 on the season. The 1-1 from the belt. Missed inside. Skipped in front of the plate, blocked up nicely by Raffelli. But also congratulations in order for Sam Jorman, our assistant GM. Ludwig, the first signee she brought in herself.
Very exciting. A huge congratulations.
2-1 pitch. A fastball high and outside. Knew him as they're both from the Northern Virginia area. Ludwig from Ashburn, Virginia. She was able to wrangle him over. A nice get for Wareham. Happy to have him. 3-1 pitch. Missed high and outside. Ludwig's first plate appearance on the Cape League is a good one. Draws a walk in the ninth. Now runners on first and second for Jim Jarvis. One away and a 12-1 Wareham lead. Jarvis replaced McLean in the seventh. Flew out to center his first time up. And the first pitch to him is a fastball upstairs. Some score updates. Owen mentioned Orleans beating Catuit 5-1 earlier. But Brewster just going final against Falmouth. They won 7-1. And Bourne ahead of Harwich 4-3 in the bottom of the seventh. 1-0 pitch, fouled straight back by Jarvis.
Well, it has not been the stretch until last night against Chatham and tonight here against Hyannis that Wareham has wanted, but Catuit and Falmouth continue to struggle. Pretty amazing to think that Wareham would be in a pretty good position after this game.
Yeah, lost 6 of their last 7, but Catuit's lost 4 in a row. Falmouth's lost 5 in a row as that pitch is a called strike on the inner half. 1-2 now on Jarvis. And a win today ties the Gatemen for second in the Western Division. And if Bourne's result holds, would still be 8.5 games back from the Braves as the 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Third strikeout for Fusco, 2 away in the top of the ninth. And we'll get another pinch hitter, Cade Kern replacing Owen Diodati. Kern out of Ohio State. 12-1 Wareham here at McKeon Park. These two teams will meet here again tomorrow. Another 6 p.m. game.
And it really is pretty amazing how this West Division is just broken up. Bourne so far ahead, and then Hyannis, they've struggled. They're quite far behind, and then it's just Falmouth, Catuit, and Wareham so close battling for that 2 spot.
First pitch to Kern is fouled straight back. Kern hitting .200 with a couple homers, 13 RBIs on the season. He had a great night last night against Chatham. Reached 3 times in 5 appearances and had an RBI single in the ninth. 0-1 pitch, a fastball for a strike on the outer half. That one at 91 from Fusco. One of the higher velocity fastballs we've seen from him. 2 on, 2 out, and an 0-2 count for Cade Kern. 12-1 Wareham in the top of the ninth. Fusco from the belt. The pitch is low and inside. But this Western Division has been a conundrum, Owen. The rich get richer, and the struggling continue to struggle. 1-2. Breaking ball called, strike 3. Fusco walks 2 but strikes out the side, leaving 2 stranded. Still an 11-run lead for Wareham. Last chance for Hyannis on the Gatemen Baseball Network. 12-1 Wareham looking to close out their second win in a row at McKeon Park. Eli Saul still on the mound. Went with a clean inning in the 8th. Only walked the leadoff batter and then 3 straight outs. And he'll have the bottom 3 hitters in the order for Hyannis in the last of the 9th. 12 runs off 11 hits and no Hawks errors. Hyannis with 1 run off 5 hits and 1 Wareham error. Saul's first pitch to Dominic Johnson is fouled over the right side. Johnson reached on an E9 in the 2nd, ended up being stranded on 3rd, then a fielder's choice in the 4th, also left stranded, and grounded out to the shortstop in the 6th. Been a good night for the Gatemen pitching staff as usual. Came in with the 2nd best ERA in the league. 0-1 pitch is a fastball upstairs. Was a 3.23 ERA entering tonight behind, you guessed it, the Bourne Braves, who lead pretty much every category in the CCBL. The 1-1 to Johnson. Upstairs. 2-1 now. But nice to see the Gatemen getting back to the win column, Owen.
Pretty safe to say, I think, and they've been good in every way tonight.
That pitch hammered foul. Was crushed to the left side of the left field foul pole. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dominic Johnson, the right fielder. Here's the 2-2. Knuckled foul. That was in on the hands of Johnson. But the pitching's always been good for Wareham this season. It's just a matter of can the hitting join our excellent pitching staff as that pitch is fouled back to keep it 2-2. Right, and that's happened over the last couple nights. And pretty much in every win, the bats have been there.
Right, the run support, that's just been the variable. The pitching has been so steady, and they've had it these past few nights. That run support has been fantastic.
That pitch chopped down the third base line, still rolling. Brannigan going to see if it goes foul, and it does not. Johnson reaches on an infield single to start the last of the 9th. A chopper off of home plate that just would not budge foul on the third base line.
Well, and interestingly, Johnson just stayed at first. He just kind of waltzed back to first base. Of course, he was probably thinking it was foul or trying to beat out a throw, but probably could have taken second had he been keeping an eye on that. Of course, who knows what Brannigan would do in that situation.
First pitch to Hardigan is popped into foul territory on the left side. Brannigan backing up, now makes the catch. 1 away in the last of the 9th, a runner on first, and a 12-1 Wareham lead as Ryan Romano comes to the plate. 0 for 2, but did reach on a walk in the 7th. And tomorrow night when these two teams play here again at 6, Owen, feels like a must-win for Wareham in the standings as that one is grounded into right field for a base hit. 2 hits now in the last of the 9th for Hyannis. They have runners on first and second with 1 away. We're back to the top of the order with Trent Taylor. Taylor struck out his first time up. He replaced Clark Elliott in center field. The away stand ends tomorrow, Owen, with a game right here at McKeon Park at 6 p.m. Then it's a return to home base on Friday against Harwich, a 6:45 first pitch. And back on the road to Orleans Saturday. The week closes out at home against Catuit on Sunday.
Yeah, this has been quite a week of road trips. At Brewster, at Chatham, here at Hyannis twice, and then Orleans. Those are just about as far as we'll go.
First pitch to Taylor is a breaking ball outside. He checks his swing and went around. 0-1 to Trent Taylor. But it's getting down to that point, Owen. Every game huge for the divisional standings, especially when it's against a Western team like it is tonight. As the 0-1 pitch is a fastball that missed inside, 95 from Saul. Wareham's dominated Hyannis so far this season, winning the first 3 meetings and well in control here for another win over the Harbor Hawks. The 1-1 fouled back.
Yeah, the Gatemen, like we mentioned earlier, they've struggled against Cotuit. They play them one more time. That's this coming Sunday, the 25th, at home. And then they play Falmouth twice more on August 2nd and 3rd, once at home, once away. They play Bourne twice as well. And they actually do have one more game at Cotuit. So 2 more games against each of their West Division foes after this game tomorrow night at Hyannis.
That pitch missed high and outside. Now 2-2 to Taylor. But I have a feeling, Owen, that it's going to come down to those last 6 games of the season. Against Cotuit, then back-to-back against Bourne, back-to-back against Falmouth, and another game against Hyannis to close out the regular season as that pitch misses inside to make it a full count to Taylor. And those will all be massive games for the Western Division standings. Runners on first and second with 1 out. Payoff pitch to Trent Taylor, swung on and missed. Big strikeout for Saul, his first. And Wareham 1 out away from closing this thing out, up 12-1 in the 9th.
Yeah, those games, I think, going down the stretch certainly will be huge. And just, you wonder if it'll come down at all to that last game at home against Hyannis. And one of the things I've found so interesting in this Cape League here is sort of the incentive structures for these players. They might wonder about their allegiance level with their Cape League team versus their college team. And that one's fouled off. Excuse me, Jack. And so, Hyannis, these players trying so hard to sort of improve, whether it's their draft stock or something like that. So you can count on, one of the pros, I think, of that is that you can count on each ball player trying to do as well as they possibly can every game of the season.
That pitch is roped foul. Gets into the Wareham bullpen on the right side. Kyle Ball down to his last strike. He's 1 for 4 tonight with a base hit in the 5th. Wareham up 12-1 with runners on first and second and 2 away. A win is a tie for second in the West. 0-2 pitch. Fouled back. Ball just caught a piece. But interestingly enough, Wareham against Cotuit and Falmouth, who they're in the race for second with, not doing very well. 1 and 3 against Cotuit and 0-2-1 against Falmouth. Not great. That will have to improve down the stretch if they want second place in the West. 0-2 pitch. A breaking ball outside.
Yeah, it is interesting how much they've struggled against those 2 teams, and they've been able to get some wins against teams like Hyannis. Obviously, we've seen they've been very successful against them, and some others even in the East Division.
1-2 pitch, chopper to the right side, charged by Troy. His flick to first is in time. Wareham wins their second in a row, a 12-1 win over the Harbor Hawks at McKeon Park. And the Gatemen are tied for second in the Western Division, 8.5 games back from the first place Bourne Braves. The Gatemen improved to 9-12-4, while Hyannis falls to 4-20. Again, your final score from McKeon Park: Wareham Gatemen 12, Hyannis Harbor Hawks 1. We'll break down all the action on our post-game show in a moment. Thank you for joining us on a Tuesday night on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
We appreciate and thank the sponsors who support the Cape League and the 10 teams. Our corporate sponsors are the financial backbone of the league. It is with their support that we are able to preserve our long-standing tradition of providing the best family entertainment here on Cape Cod. On behalf of the Wareham Gatemen, the 9 other teams, league officers, and the entire Cape League family, we would like to announce and thank our 2021 corporate sponsors. With much appreciation, we recognize
the Yawkey Foundation, Curry College, Cape Cod Healthcare, the 99 Restaurants, Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod,
Badger Sport, 47 Brand, Cape Cod 5 Cent Savings Bank, Milton Cat, Mosquito Marys.
Fairway Financial, Ocean Spray, Seaside Le Mans, Rogers Gray, Franklin Sports.
Cape Destinations, Sullivan Tire, Cape Cod Times, Kinlan Grover Real Estate, Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce.
Highline Cruises, Sports Picks, On Deck Sports, Barnstable Bat, Hyannis Area Chamber of Commerce.
HP Hood, Sunderland Printing, Axis Bats, Quest Diagnostics, Cape Space. And of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
The Cape Cod Baseball League and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We ask for your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments or any other intimidating actions will not be tolerated. Thank you. We ask parents to keep their children off the roofs of the dugouts, away from the batting cages, and out of the bullpen areas. Please throw rubbish into the barrels and recycle the aluminum cans in special bins located around the park.
Ladies and gentlemen, state law prohibits the use of any tobacco product on school property. Thanks for keeping us in compliance.
Cameras and video cameras are permitted inside Spillane Field for personal photos but cannot be used to reproduce the game, players, or on-field events without the express written permission of the Wareham Gatemen. Use of camera or video equipment must not interfere with other fans' enjoyment of the game.
Welcome into the Gatemen post-game show. Jack Sadighian, Owen, Sughrue. Wareham wins its second in a row, a 12-1 win over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. The final line, Wareham 12 runs off of 11 hits, no Harbor Hawks errors. Hyannis 1 run off of 7 hits and 1 Gateman error. An all-around good performance tonight, Owen. And the Gatemen got back in the win column last night and are now tied for second in the West with their second win in a row.
Yeah, another great night here for Wareham. They're second in a row, and a lot of it goes back to that second and third innings. All 12 Gateman runs came in 3 innings, and that was the second, the third, and the seventh. Just exploded in all 3 of those, 5 in the second, 4 in the third. And all they really needed were those runs in the second inning. They had another phenomenal performance on the mound, from Christian Rubeck, Carter Rustad, and then to finish things off, Eli Saul. And so many positives from that Gateman offense tonight, and Gateman pitching staff, like we've said, they just continue their success on the mound.
We'll talk about the action from this game in a moment, but a look around the league. Cotuit losing to Orleans 5-1. Falmouth falls to Brewster 7-1. Bourne is tied with Harwich 4-4 in the top of the 8th, and YD and Chatham tied 3-3 in the top of the 8th as well. But Wareham officially tied for second in the West now that Cotuit and Falmouth have gone final. They are 8.5 games back from the Braves at the moment. That could be 9.5 or 9 games if the Braves win or tie tonight. But tied with Cotuit at 22 points, and those two teams are 2 games ahead of Falmouth and Hyannis way back there. They are 31 points or 15.5 games back from the first place Braves. So a Western division that outside of Bourne has been struggling, but that's good for Wareham because they had the 6-game losing streak before winning these 2 games in a row and needed some help from everybody else to stay in that second place race.
Yeah, and they've gotten that help. It's been a brutally tough stretch for Falmouth and Cotuit as well, and Wareham with a couple big wins. Who knows how big those will be as the season goes on. They really struggled in those past 6 games. Again, that 6-game losing streak, and last night against Falmouth getting a win against an Eastern Division team, and then tonight over the struggling Harbor Hawks. So at a time when Falmouth and Cotuit are really struggling too, these could be some big points for Wareham, turning some momentum and getting rid of their struggles.
The scoring started early for Wareham. In the second inning, Tommy Troy led things off with a solo shot to right field. And then he was followed by a base hit from Kellum Clark, an RBI double from Yohandy Morales. By the time the inning was over, 5 runs, 10 batters come to the plate for Wareham, and they were solidly in front 5-0 early.
Yeah, they were that second inning, and just great production, like we mentioned, from everyone beyond that 4 spot, and certainly Tres Gonzalez with a single in the second as well. But you're just seeing production from everybody. We're so used to seeing it from Owen Diodati. We know what he can do, and just it was all around a good performance tonight from the Gatemen, and 19 batters collectively in the second and third inning combined, and that usually means good offense. That led to 9 runs, and they were off and running after 3 innings.
Yeah, up 9-0 after 3. Hyannis finally got their first run of the game in the 4th, and then the Bats again putting up a crooked number in the 7th. Brannigan drew a walk. Frechette and Fergus with back-to-back hits. And Fergus and Gonzalez get RBIs in the 3-run inning, which put Wareham up 12-1 and essentially put the nail in the coffin in the 7th.
Well, yeah, the success just continued in the 7th inning, and we talked a little bit about the success from Frechette and Fergus. And Frechette was 2 for 5 with a double and a single. He scored 3 times. Fergus was 2 for 4. He walked in the second, and then he also had a single and a double. He scored twice. So that production from the 8 and 9 hitters, that was a really good sign for the Gatemen. Again, usually we're used to seeing Crooks behind the plate, and Frechette with a great performance at the plate tonight, and he was good defensively as well. And we've seen Fergus a little bit in center field, and he just, like a lot of his teammates, he had another good night at the plate. So many guys tonight for Wareham with success at the plate, and this is as explosive as we've seen them all season.
Your MVP tonight in the 12-1 win?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, there really are so many names to choose from. I think I go with Cade Fergus. I think he was just excellent in that 9 spot. And, he was also good in the field. He made a couple tough plays. The wind wasn't a huge factor tonight, but, again, it is always a factor in these games. And he was very solid in the field. He's had some struggles at the plate so far this season, and he was just excellent in that 9 spot, and just a really good sign for him. So he's the guy that stands out to me, and again, not at all to discount the great performance from so many of the other guys. I mean, you could easily mention just on the pitching staff, you could mention Rustad was fantastic. Rubeck had a very solid start, and Saul was great too. But offensively, I go with Fergus, but he was certainly not the only one.
Wareham returns to action. Same time, same place, 6 p.m. at McKeon Park against Hyannis tomorrow. Then a day off Thursday before returning to play Harwich at home. First pitch in that game will be 6:45. And on the road against Orleans Saturday, back at home Sunday against Cotuit to close out the weeks. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on the Gatemen postgame show. Again, your final, Wareham Gatemen 12. They improved to 9-12-4. Hyannis Harbor Hawks 1. They fall to 4-20. We'll see you tomorrow at McKeon Park. We'll start the live pregame about 10 minutes before first pitch, so be sure to join us then. For now, everybody have a great Tuesday night.